This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We want to pay tribute to celebrity doctor, and I would say friend of the show. I think he joined us maybe 5 times or so over the years, Dr. Michael Mosley, who has passed away, unfortunately, as you may have read over the weekend. This has been a really, really scary time for everyone that follows him, but importantly his family and friends, in not knowing the whereabouts as it was before the body was found over the weekend.
This just fascinates me, this story, that a man, and remember how glued we were to him.
I love him.
We've had him in here so many times, and it's about, he's dedicated his whole life to longevity and staying healthy. He changed your life. I mean, you were on the 5-2 for a while. And even fasting, that minor fasting that people were doing around the world, and how good that was for you.
He changed so many lives, and he brought so much education to people, and he continued to develop. I mean, I've been sitting there with his book on my desk, which was one of his most recent. I think there's still one more to come out, which no doubt will become a tribute to Michael Mosley. But 4 Weeks to a Better Sleep is one of the recent books he had, but the 5-2, the Fast 800, they're all, gut health was a big one that he looked into as well. But, he really did change so many lives. And this has been a great reminder of just how fragile life actually is. Tommy, we were reading, and I think Ash mentioned the news, they're now putting it down to heat exhaustion.
Yeah, he sat down and lost consciousness is what they're saying this morning after...
But there was a fall involved?
Yeah, there was a fall near that resort where he was found. So I think they have CCTV footage of him falling, but then he sort of stumbled down to the side of that resort, and he was so close to being found.
And he was 100 metres. Yeah. So he was 100 metres from the ocean, which would have cooled his body down. But I mean, heat exhaustion, I've had that before, and you're delirious. You don't know what you're doing. This is the thing. And whether he would have jumped into the water and knew what was happening, or you just don't know.
God.
But the other thing as well we talk about is a man who studied so much about, staying healthy and longer and stuff like that. He didn't take his phone with him on the walk. And it's little things like this. It's just, it was extremely unlucky what happened. But I just, for a man you would think Michael Mosley would live to 120.
You would naturally, because of all the study and all the great medical work that he's done as a doctor, and also in the science field, but also just for the average man and average person that's looking to better their life and be a healthy version of who they are. So you would suggest that at some stage, if there was a fall involved, he has hit his head, or there's some injury to his...
Well, it's hard to
heat exhaustion.
Well, he had his umbrella with him, which you saw, which was heat protection he took for the walk, but the walk was meant to be 20 minutes to half an hour.
Yeah, but see, once you start going, it's hard to... And he was on a cliff. You could see there was a lot of rocks. He got to the fence line and he was 100 metres from the water, but your body starts to shut down. And once you lose consciousness and you're in that sun, 40 degrees heat...
It's just unbelievably sad. It's unbelievably tragic. To pay tribute, though, and we loved, obviously, having him as a guest on the show because he was so informative and wise the entire time, we thought we'd play a little bit of our last chat with Michael Mosley, Dr. Michael Mosley, and he's talking about the experiments that he did, and this was just part of the great human he was.
You don't just study this, you actually do it yourself, Doc, don't you? You put on 10, 15 kilos and then you try to take it off with this diet.
I did. The original reason why I invented 5-2 diet is because I discovered 7 years ago that I was a type 2 diabetic.
Yes.
Right.
And my dad had died of complications of it. So that's when I'd never heard of intermittent fasting, and I was a doctor who had obviously, like every other doctor, had learnt nothing about nutrition at medical school. So I went off and I found out about it. I invented 5-2 diet. I lost 10 kilos. Blood sugars went back to normal. Perfect. Stayed there. But to write the new book, which is the Fast 800, I'm advocating at the beginning that you do a rapid weight loss diet at the beginning.
Right.
So that's 800 calories for up to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Now, in the clinical studies, they found average weight loss of 14 kilos doing that approach. Okay.
Wow.
So this is for people who have quite a lot of weight to shift,
Yes.
or who have type 2 diabetes,
Got ya.
or who have pre-diabetes, or perhaps they have problems with their, high cholesterol scores.
Yes.
So they have a reason why they want to shift off quite a lot of weight pretty fast. And again, what's surprising is the studies show the faster you lose it, the more likely you are to keep it off long term. And that's kind of surprising because we're always told slow and steady.
Yes.
And yet there have been a series of really big studies. There was one in the UK recently. The people who did rapid weight loss, 800 calories, lost and kept off 10 kilos over a year, whereas those doing the slow and steady lost 1 kilo. I love life hacks. That's kind of what I'm about.
absolutely.
I love exploring the science of it, and that's why I really, really enjoyed researching and writing Clever Guts, because it is just, your gut is so interesting. And the things that go on down there, it really is an undiscovered planet filled with the world's weirdest creatures.
It's beautifully said, isn't it? And it bring a lot of medical knowledge and understanding of the human body to our ears and to our understanding. So we celebrate Michael Mosley and his tragic passing, and we think of his friends and, of course, his family at this time.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.